finance team and all of our executive leaders to plan for 2023 budget. And it's amazing because in a blink of an eye, we are going to be in the new year. And if you have big goals for growth next year, it is super important that the planning and strategy for the new year begins now. In fact, I'll share one of the most important lessons that I learned in my Fortune 500 experience was that the fourth quarter is actually what determines your year the next year. And I'll tell you why. Okay. So the business operates in 90 days delinquent to wherever you are today. So the results that you're getting today are reflecting where you were and what you were doing 90 days ago. Okay. The business is always 90 days behind you. Right. And so many people kind of like, clock it in a little bit in the fourth quarter. They lean back. They're a little tired from the year. They're not so much thinking about, where they want to be, next year. They're kind of, a little bit running and playing soft and light in the fourth quarter. But the problem with that is that your execution in the fourth quarter is what determines your first quarter results. Your first quarter results set the tone for the entire year, right? And the momentum that you either do or don't have in the first quarter then feeds into the second quarter, which feeds into the third quarter. And an object in motion, it tends to stay in motion, right? Until something of greater force comes and impacts it. So the momentum, whether it's positive or negative that you have coming into the year, is very much going to then trickle over and impact the whole rest of the year. Either it's really positive momentum that started based on the execution in the fourth quarter that then carries you, with wind behind your back in Q1, then that confidence is what really inspires and fuels the team to hockey stick that up the rest of the year. Or if you are playing really soft and light in the fourth quarter and you're coming into the year unprepared, usually what happens is the whole first quarter you're playing catch up. A lot of people get into Q1 and they're like, wow, this didn't go how I wanted it to go, didn't achieve those Q1 goals. Now morale is down on the team, confidence is low on the team, there's course correction and cleanup. That gets carried into Q2. And before you know it, half the year is gone. And now you're trying to turn things around. So this is a really important conversation to be having, because if you are looking to scale your business in 2023, you need to absolutely be making decisions and being thoughtful starting now about what you're doing to set yourself up for success. So I'm going to kind of talk about, 5 things today that I think that should be on your radar and should be a part of what you're doing starting now as you prepare for 2023 to make it your best year in business. Are you guys ready? Here we go. So number 1, I want you to be thinking about how you are growing as a leader, right? One of the most important things that you will learn on your journey as an entrepreneur, of course, and you'll learn this over and over again, is that the business is never going to grow beyond you. So if you want your business to keep growing, you have to keep growing because you are the leader of your business. You are the leader of your company. So one of the first things that you need to decide about 2023 is, how are you facilitating your growth as a leader? Not just in sales and marketing, not just in, how you're designing the operations or coaching your team. How are you growing in your actual leadership skills and actually building tools and mechanisms as you are trying to step into the role of CEO in your business to be more effective at that job? One of the reasons why I created the Legacy Leaders program is that I realized that most entrepreneurs had almost no leadership training. And here they were running companies and managing teams, and they're basically the blind leading the blind, right? So there's lots of ways that you can expand your leadership skill set, your knowledge, your expertise, but you have to recognize that the business is not going to grow beyond you. So you need to have a plan for how you're going to grow so that the business will then follow. That's number 1. Number 2 is you need to look at the goals that you have for next year and the team infrastructure that is needed in order to execute on those goals. And you want to make sure that the way that you have your existing team structured and the plans that you have for hiring are in alignment with being able to support the level of business and the quantity of clients to be able to achieve your goals. It typically takes much longer than anticipated to find a good hire for your business and to train them. And sometimes you go through more than one person before you find the right one, which is even more reason why, if you know that in order to hit your Q1 goals next year, you're going to need more staff than you have today, or you're going to have to replace people on your staff today, those wheels need to be in motion now. Otherwise, you're never going to have the infrastructure set up the right way to be able to support where you're going for next year. That's number 2. Number 3, clean up your operations. One of the reasons why businesses that have initial success end up hitting a wall and then sliding backwards, and it creates immense turmoil, chaos, and struggle, is that they do not have their operations dialed in. Your systems for customer retention, onboarding, renewals, upsells, client experience, and results generation in your program have to be dialed in. It is just as important to make sure that the back end of your business is dialed in and ready to support your clients at that level as it is the front end, because otherwise you will be killing yourself on the front end of your business, launching, bringing in new clients every day, and they are going to drop out the back end as fast as they came in the front end, and the business is never going to grow. This is why most businesses never make it past the $1 million mark, because they put all of their attention and focus on sales, and they have no idea the back-end operations that are needed to create sustainable multi-million-dollar growth. This is the core focus of our Legacy Builders program, because once you get above 250, 300,000 in revenue, systems and operations become one of the most important focus areas for you as a CEO to ensure that the great customers that you're acquiring, that you're able to retain. Okay. So we talked about your growth as a CEO, right? We talked about anticipating team changes needed, whether it's hiring, firing, restructuring roles, getting the right people in place to support your Q1 goals. Okay. We talked about getting your operations dialed in so that you can make sure that you aren't able to just get a client, but that you're able to keep the client, renew the client, upsell the client. Okay. Number 4, you need to reset your financial plan. You need to make sure that your money is being spent in the right places, on the right things, in ways that are going to provide the highest ROI. I still see business owners every day of the week spending their hard-earned money on things that are never going to bring them a return and doing almost no advertising. A bare minimum of 10% of your revenue should always be going towards advertising. Visibility and discoverability of your business are absolutely essential and required for sustainable growth. And if you did not spend enough on that segment of your business this year, you probably saw results that coincided with that. It doesn't matter how limited your budget is. You always have an opportunity to rearrange the way that you're spending your funds to invest in things that bring a higher return. Renegotiating with vendors, consolidating expenses where there's redundancies, eliminating subscriptions that you're no longer using, moving dollars around to spend them on the most important things that facilitate growth. These are the things that smart business owners are working on constantly to get the result that they want in their businesses. And finally, getting your budget ready, right? If you have been in business for at least a few years and you anticipate building a multi-million-dollar business, you should be operating off an annual budget. That budget should have your commitment and projections for revenue and profit growth throughout the year. And it should have set goals for each month. And you should be keeping yourself and the team accountable to that, as well as compensating them based on that. So these are some of the fundamental things that you should absolutely be focused on in this, fourth quarter, in this pre-fourth quarter timeframe, to get yourself ready to have the absolute best 2023 that you possibly can. Myself and the entire team at Kelly Roach Coaching are thrilled to have the opportunity to help hundreds of business owners scale their businesses, from teaching them the front-end sales and revenue and client acquisition strategies to teaching the middle structure around operations, systems, operationalizing your business, creating SOPs, And finally, the back end of scaling and exponentially multiplying your revenue and profits with a winning team. If you are looking for strategy and you're looking for help to scale your business into the millions next year, absolutely get in touch with myself and my team. You can comment down below this video. You can reach out to me at kelly@kellyroachcoaching.com. Myself or a member of the team would love to have a conversation with you about your growth plan. For anyone that's viewing today, if you have questions about anything that I just shared, you can go ahead and post it right in the chat or shoot that over to Krista on my team who's live here with us, and she'll share it over. I see that Rhonda posted a question and she said, Kelly, do you set aside a full or half day with your team for quarterly planning? And how far in advance of the quarter do you typically schedule it? That is a great question, Rhonda. So we actually are already in budget meetings for next year, as I already mentioned, and we do those in small chunks where we're discussing planning and strategy. And we'll do that up until we will finalize our budget the first week of November so that everyone is working all of November and all of December to set their teams and divisions up to make sure that they can hit their Q1 budget. That's number one. In terms of planning and meeting with the team, so I meet with my SVP, my VP, and my director level, as well as my executive suite, about once every 3 months. So we just got done a meeting in Austin. We're meeting again in person for 2 days in California in October. And then we'll meet again at the beginning of the year here in Florida. So basically once every 90 days-ish, we're going to meet in person, do big picture vision casting, overall company strategy planning, and really break down how we're going to achieve our objectives for the following 90 days. That was a great question. Thank you so much. I hope you all got some great tips and some useful strategy out of today's conversation. I want to remind you, I love answering questions that come in from all of you. So feel free to post down below this thread, ask me anything. I'm happy to answer your questions either live here today or in a future video. And again, I want to encourage all of you to reach out to myself and the team. We do one-to-one consulting in our business advisory. We have group coaching programs as well as small group masterminds for business owners from startup all the way through $10 million and above. So if you would like support, if you would like strategy, if you would like guidance on how to build, grow, and scale your business, get in touch with us. We'd love to have a conversation with you and find a custom solution that's an exact match for your needs. And thank you, Madeline. Madeline wrote, Kelly is the best coach. I joined Legacy Leaders and it was revolutionary for my business. And Madeline is one of our treasured legacy leaders. Hi, Madeline. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Appreciate you. And thank you so much for your sentiments. So I hope you all got some value out of these 5 core strategies for how to set your business up for success as you plan for the 4th quarter. I'm excited to help all of you have the best 2023 ever. And most importantly, I want you to remember that the best year ever starts today. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you back here next time.